found in the most unexpected places and captured with their unbelievable appearances. These creatures could be anything but natural.
What do you think that is, man?
I don't know.
From bizarre to creepiest, scary to strange. Stick around to watch the most shocking creatures that got caught on camera and left everyone in awe. Some encounters aren't meant to be explained. They're just witnessed. In the woods, a tourist spotted a strange figure. As he moved closer, he realized it was an alien sitting in an unusual position, almost as if it were searching for something. Perhaps it had lost its remote spaceship and was looking for it on the ground. Maybe it was examining the forest. The tourist pointed his flashlight at the creature. It suddenly stood up, its glowing eyes fixed on the light for a moment. Then, without a sound, it disappeared into the bushes. Who knows? That extraterrestrial being might still be in the same forest. Haunted Cemetery. A late-night visit to the woods took a terrifying turn for one man. While exploring the quiet cemetery, he began reciting Quranic verses for protection. He pointed his camera toward a tree in the distance, but what he saw next chilled him. There, standing motionless on the branches, was a dark figure. Its eyes stared blankly into the night. As the man zoomed in, the figure became clearer. It looked like a pocong, a ghostly spirit from Indonesian folklore. These spirits are believed to be souls trapped in burial shrouds, unable to rest. Visiting the woods alone is never a good idea. Some things are better left undisturbed. Stay safe and always take someone with you. Dark Encounter. Do you think a monster could be trapped in a hole? After watching this clip, you may think so. In 2016, something strange was spotted in a hole in Iraq. Locals noticed a shadowy figure deep inside. They reached in to get a closer look, but the structure of the hole kept most of it hidden. What they saw was scary. A creature from stories was struggling to break free. It was a Wendigo, a spirit trapped for who knows how long, now desperate for escape. The locals acted quickly, sealing the hole as best they could. The video cut off at the peak moment. Had they sealed it for good, or had something far worse slipped away? Creepy Encounter. Not all abandoned houses are empty. Some still have people living in them. In an old abandoned house in Russia, a ghost hunter stepped into the dark. As he searched, he saw a figure crouched in the corner. At first, he thought it was the Rake, the scary creature from urban legends. But as it moved closer, he saw it was a man. His movements were strange, almost like he was being controlled by something else. It appeared as if the man was possessed, and his body was no longer his own. The ghost hunter didn't stay to find out why. He ran, leaving the house and its scary memory behind. Creepy Encounter. You shouldn't enter an abandoned house, or this could happen to you. Standing at the entrance, he came face to face with a figure that had a horrifying face. At first, he thought it was a woman. Her eyes locked on him, but as he took another look, the nightmare took a darker turn. What he thought was a person was no woman at all. It was the spirit of a witch who once haunted the house. The encounter left a scary mark, one that this local would never forget. Unholy creation. A lab experiment was set up to bring a creature back to life. Something that shouldn't exist. A leaked video showed the creature, a human-like face with the body of a dog. Some said it was a genetic experiment, mixing human and animal DNA to create a hybrid, but no one really knew. The video ended before we could find out more details. It really makes you think about what else is out there, hidden in those labs. Haunted waters. Have you heard what happened at Rio Claro's famous waterfall? Something really strange showed up there recently. It all started when a tourist captured a video of the waterfall. That's when they spotted it. A shadowy shape, looked like a human, but things got turned in a few seconds. At first he thought his eyes were playing tricks on them, but no, it was definitely there, hovering near the rushing water. The weird part? When they tried to get a better look, the figure just disappeared, right into the water, like it was never even there. But the tourist got it on camera. Here's where it gets even creepier. The locals were saying it could be the ghost of someone who drowned in that very waterfall years ago. But next time you're visiting Rio Claro, you might want to keep your camera ready. You never know what might show up in your photos.
Caraca, apareceu cara ali no meio da água.
Unseen horror. Not every house hides a secret, but this one does. And what this guy saw outside his home doesn't make sense. A figure appeared outside the house, walking slowly. But here, things got weird. Its body started to change. Its legs twisted into long, slimy, tentacle-like limbs. It crawled toward the window, but you know what? It looked more strange with every second. Then, just as it reached the window, it vanished. He stood there unsure of what he had just seen. The truth behind that creature was more strange than anyone could have guessed. Was it a skinwalker or a cryptid being? Decide it for yourself now. Witches lurk.
Mames, ¿qué es este pedo, güey?
You might think witches only exist in fairy tales, but what if I told you about an encounter that happened in the dense forests of Indonesia? A villager was walking through the jungle at night when his flashlight beam caught it. It was lying wrapped in white cloth on the jungle floor. As he threw his light on it, two eyes suddenly blinked and stared back at him. The villager stepped closer and pulled back the cloth, revealing a true identity. It remained still, looking weak and powerless. The villager left quickly. The witch was never seen again, but that part of the jungle remains haunted.
Más, güey, mira, güey. Dale más, güey.
Revived secrets. Ever wondered what goes on behind the closed doors of top secret labs? A leaked video from a hidden research facility quickly spread online, showing scientists gathered around a strange creature. At first, its form was unrecognizable, but as the camera zoomed in, it became clear. The creature resembled a dinosaur. It seemed like the scientists were using ancient fossils to somehow bring it back to life. So, what now? The footage ended abruptly, leaving the world to wonder, could this be the start of something that once belonged to the past, and now coming back to life? Strange riverhead. A fisherman was out on the river when he saw a human head floating in the water. It was staring at him, not moving at all. Curious, he reached out with his stick to touch it. The moment he did, the head sank into the water like a lifeless body. Locals say it was the spirit of someone who drowned in the water. The fisherman never came back, and soon the lake was known as haunted. Locals warned everyone not to visit that spot. Cemetery watcher. Have you ever felt like you were being watched, but couldn't explain why? That's what a local experienced near an old cemetery. A camera captured a scary sight, a moving figure on the grave. But as the camera zoomed in, it became clear it wasn't just any human. It was the legendary Goatman, sitting still. It looked like it was waiting for someone. According to locals, it was an ancient being, cursed to guard the graves, while some say it was a shapeshifter that only appeared at night. Whatever it is, those who've seen it say the feeling of being watched never leaves it. Forest shadows. This explorer had no idea a strange encounter awaited him in the forest. While walking, he spotted a figure just a few steps away. It wasn't a villager. It didn't even look entirely human. Some say it could have been a skinwalker, the shape-shifting creature from Native American legends, said to stalk lonely travelers. Before he could get closer, the figure vanished into the trees. Its movement was deliberate, as though it was hunting, but chose not to strike. He just stood there frozen, realizing he may have seen a creature that shared the forest with no one but itself. That eerie sight stayed with him long after. Perhaps he never walked that path again, knowing he wasn't the only one watching in the shadows. Strange cat encounter. What would you do if the cat on your sofa didn't seem entirely like a cat? That's exactly what this homeowner experienced when he spotted a strange feline lounging in his living room. At first glance, it looked normal, but then he noticed something odd. The cat sat in an unusual pose, its legs bent like a frog's. But that wasn't all. Its paws and tail didn't look right. They resembled those of a salamander. It was as if 3 animals had been combined into one. But from where it made its presence in his house, maybe from a secret experiment base. Roadside Phantom.
Señor, mire. Desapareció,
Not all encounters can be explained. One moment, it's there, silent, watching. Next, it's gone. One night, a driver passed by a traffic accident. As he slowed down, he saw a dark figure in a black gown. It crossed the road and moved toward the crash site. The figure stopped exactly where the accident had happened. At first, the driver thought it was a person, but before he could get a closer look, it vanished. Was it an evil spirit tied to the tragedy? Unease crept over him. He left the area quickly and swore never to take that road at night again. Rumors of strange sightings in that spot haunted his mind. Had others seen the same chilling figure?
Ay, empezó a moverse. Ay, mira.
Mysterious creature. You won't always find fish or carcasses in the sea. While fishing, a fisherman spotted a tail in the water. It didn't move like any fish he had seen before. The splashes were strange, and the rest of the body stayed hidden beneath the waves. For a moment, he wondered if it could be a mermaid. The thought was unbelievable, but the tail looked too unusual to ignore. Whatever it was, the sight stayed with him. It was a moment he knew no one else would believe. Mystery in the jungle. What if the jungle hides more than just its wildlife? A local went deep into the jungle. He saw strange figures hiding behind the trees. Their bodies looked human, but their ears were too long. Their eyes glowed, almost alien. They didn't move. They just stood there, silently watching him. When the locals took a step closer, they ran off. They vanished into the thick jungle. Some believe they could be Toyal, creatures from old myths. Others think they might be guarding something important, like a sacred place or hidden treasure. Whatever they were, their true purpose is still a mystery. Webbed beast. Under the old bridge, a worker saw an animal, but it wasn't a cute cat or dog. It was much scarier. The creature had webbed hands and a tiger's body. Its fur was rough, and its tail was long and striped, but its hands weren't like paws. They were webbed, almost like the hands of a duck. It moved slowly, watching the worker as if it didn't want to be seen. It looked like a mix of a tiger and a duck, something unnatural. Maybe someone had tried an experiment and failed, or it had escaped from a secret lab. The worker didn't stay to find out. Fay or Alien? A forest officer was patrolling when he found a strange creature lying on the ground. It was in bad condition. The video of the encounter quickly spread online, and people started guessing what it could be. Some said it was an alien crashed on Earth. Others thought it might be a Fay, a magical creature from old stories. No one knew for sure what it was. Was it an alien or something from the past? The truth remains a mystery, and maybe that's how it should stay. Strange sighting. This guy caught a strange creature roaming the streets of Texas. At first glance, it looked like a rat, but as it moved closer to the camera, something didn't feel right. Its face had 2 eyes, but there was a strange third eye in the center. People started making their own guesses. Some thought it might be an alien or a weird mutant, but 2 stories got the most attention. One said that it was actually a melanistic gray squirrel, known for its dark fur. They further stated that the third eye wasn't an eye at all. It was a patch of fur that had been plucked out, leaving behind the appearance of an eye. The second theory claimed it was a sighting of a rat hybrid, but even after the explanation, the creature's appearance still left a lasting impression. Alien or mermaid? While cleaning near a lake, a man noticed a small creature floating by the water's edge. It had long hair and moved slightly. He tried to catch it, but it slipped away. What stood out were its legs. This was no mermaid. Its form was strange, unlike anything he'd seen before. Rumors quickly spread. Some believed it was an alien child who somehow landed on Earth. Days later, its lifeless body was found washed ashore. Its origins remained a mystery. Whatever it was, its presence left everyone to think about what truly lives among us. Strange creature. A family in Texas came across a creature in their home that they couldn't identify. It wasn't a typical house pest, but it was unlike anything they had ever seen. The insect had the body of a praying mantis, spider-like legs, and a scorpion's tail. The large hybrid crawled across the floor and left the family in shock. When they showed photos to experts, no one could identify it. It didn't match any known species. The mystery insect became an unsolved case for Texas wildlife officers. Strange glow. Magic in the green jungle happened, and a tiny light told a big secret. In the jungles of Thailand, a tourist noticed a tiny glowing figure. At first, it looked like a firefly, but then the tourist realized it was something more. As he stepped closer, the glow became clearer. It wasn't an insect, it was a fairy. The tiny figure hovered in the air, its wings shimmering in the dark. The tourist couldn't believe his eyes. Fairies were just stories, right? But here, one was flying in front of him. At that moment, he realized that maybe besides animals, other magical beings lived in the jungle too. Walking fish. Most fish swim in water, but at a frozen lake in Alaska, a fisherman saw a sight that changed everything he knew about fish. He saw a fish with 4 tiny legs. As the video of the bizarre scene went viral, people began to make their own guesses. Some believed it was a mutated fish, but experts soon revealed the truth. The fish wasn't mutated, it was a walking fish. While carps usually do not behave in such a manner, researchers believe it came out of the frozen lake for air and was filmed at the exact moment. The fisherman's strange encounter left everyone amazed, proving that nature can still surprise us in ways we never expected. Ghostly figure. In a place where no one dares to go, a strange figure was caught on camera. In the middle of a burned-down building, an adventurer saw this. The figure had long, thin limbs and stood by the window. Then, it moved away and disappeared into the dark. The building had been abandoned for years after a fire destroyed it. Entering such places can be risky. Not only might the building be falling apart, but you never know what or who might still be inside. Stay away from abandoned buildings. You might not be alone. Cemetery encounter. Do you think graveyards are just home to ghosts? Well, think again. One local thought he knew what to expect when he walked through the woods one night, but what he saw was far from normal. He spotted a black figure sitting on a tree. Its red eyes were glowing. In its hand, there was something dark, but he couldn't tell what it was. It looked like it was eating something, maybe a bone. Could it have been holding a dark, lifeless object? It might be an evil spirit, and the man saw him while it was having its meal. The local didn't want to take any chances. He thought it was better to leave. But what would you do? Would you stay or leave it behind? Mysterious figure. A figure was spotted moving through the fields of Oruro, Bolivia. At first, some believed it could be the chupacabra, just like the legends have always told. While flying a drone over the area, this explorer noticed a dark shape walking on two legs. The figure appeared almost dog-like, but there was something strange about it. As the drone flew closer, the figure's back revealed a strange hump. The sight was unsettling, but when the video surfaced online, some started to wonder if it was something else entirely, maybe a rare animal or a creature misidentified. Jungle Encounter. In the jungle, a local standing in a treehouse saw two figures appear. At first, they seemed like nothing more than strange, wild animals. But then they started throwing sticks at him, almost like they were trying to warn him off. The local tried to confront them, but they didn't spare him. These creatures weren't like any animal he'd ever seen. Dark and goblin-like, they seemed to own the jungle. It felt like the jungle was their home, and they weren't about to let anyone enter. Alien Encounter.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large.
A Las Vegas police officer's body cam captured a bright fireball shooting across the sky one night. Shortly after, a 16-year-old boy made a frantic 911 call. He claimed he saw alien-like creatures in his backyard. The boy described the beings as tall with large eyes, completely unlike anything human. His family supported his story, saying they saw the same creatures. Their backyard camera recorded footage of a pale figure, which was handed over to the police. Despite the video, authorities haven't made a statement. Months later, the family still believes it was an alien encounter, though officials continue to deny it. The mystery remains unsolved. Unexplainable Encounter. On a road, a CCTV camera caught a strange moment. A calm dog began barking furiously at a figure in the distance. The figure appeared on the screen, its shape unclear, moving slowly. It seemed almost unnatural, like it didn't belong in the surroundings. Some believed it was a skinwalker, a creature from folklore known for its eerie abilities. Others thought it might be a cryptid, a creature that defies explanation. Whatever it was, the dog sensed it first. Terrifying road encounter. And here comes an unbelievable sight on the road. This guy was walking when he saw a beast lying on the road. The creature appeared to be a wolf. As he approached, its sharp teeth were visible. The video went viral on the internet, leaving millions in shock. Viewers quickly connected it to the Dogman, a legendary creature known to stalk these lands for centuries. As more people shared their own encounters, one question remained. What brought this mysterious beast so close to civilization that day? Backyard Encounter.
Ela corre e se sustenta apenas sobre duas.
While most people wouldn't expect anything out of the ordinary in their backyard, a local in Minas Gerais saw a strange figure. It was partially hidden behind a tree. The creature had a goat-like appearance, but the strange part was that it was on two legs. It was hard to get a clear view, but it was enough to make the local wonder if it could be a chupacabra, a creature said to prey on livestock by draining their blood. Who knows for how long this creature is visiting his backyard? This situation must be stressful for him, for sure.
Mas aquilo não é a cabra, e tá ali o dia.
Creepy creature. Locals were confused, as there were usually fish in the pond. So what was this strange figure doing there? The figure in the pond was blurry. Its face was not clearly visible. At first, the locals thought it might be a woman standing in the water, as if possessed. But as they looked closer, they realized it wasn't a woman at all. According to some, it was a witch. Some say it was none other than a spirit haunting the pond. The video ended abruptly, and no one knows what happened to the locals. Are they still safe? Or did they encounter something far worse? Mysterious encounter. A peaceful day on the farm was interrupted by a strange creature no one expected to see. The farmer spotted a black figure sitting like a monkey in the field. Its ears looked like those of a baby elephant, As the farmer got closer, the creature started crawling toward him. He quickly threw a stone at it, and the creature quickly ran off and disappeared into the crops. The video got the hot spot on the internet. According to Netizen, it might be a creature no one had seen before. Others believed it could be a strange mutation. Whatever it was, it left the farmer feeling confused and uneasy. That creature in the field was never seen again, but the farmer couldn't forget what he had seen. Pit creature. You wouldn't believe what a local saw poking out of a pit outside an old house. A creepy creature stuck its head out, then vanished just as fast. Whoever came across this video thought it was a demon or an ancient spirit tied to the land. Maybe it's a guardian of something buried there. Or maybe it's a sign that something darker is starting to appear soon there again. The creature in that pit wasn't just a sight, it was a warning, a presence that shouldn't be ignored. Haunted shadows. They say abandoned villages hold secrets, and this one proved it. A trail camera set up in the area captured a chilling scene, a dark figure moving silently through the night. Moments later, another shadow dropped from a tree, crawling unnaturally before standing upright and vanishing into the darkness. Strangely, a nearby tree swayed as if touched by unseen hands. Many believe these figures are spirits tied to forbidden rituals of the past, cursed to guard the land. Some think they trap intruders, ensuring the village's secrets remain hidden forever. Whatever they are, their presence warns this is no place for the living. Unseen watcher. What if a creature from another world was standing right in front of you? A driver noticed a strange figure in the middle of the road. It didn't move. Some believe it could have been a skinwalker, a shape-shifting entity. Others suggest it could be an alien hybrid, the result of secret government experiments. Whatever it was, the driver knew for sure it wasn't just a normal animal. This was something unknown. What crossed the driver's path that night remains a mystery. The next time you're out driving, keep in mind there may be more lurking in the dark than you expect. Roadside Encounter. A runner was out on his usual route when he noticed a strange figure ahead. At first, he thought it was a large dog blocking his path. Curious, he pulled out his camera and zoomed in for a closer look. Suddenly, the creature turned, standing up on two legs, and then the video abruptly cut off. What started as an ordinary encounter quickly turned into something unsettling. The creature, with horns and jet black fur, wasn't anything like he'd ever seen before. Now, people online are left to wonder what this being could be. Was it a demon? If I were in his shoes, I'd be running in the other direction as fast as I could. Shadowed presence. In an abandoned area, a terrifying figure waited. This group of cave explorers in India spotted a black figure sitting in a cave. As they got closer, they realized it was completely black, like the shadow of a being. This wasn't an ordinary figure. It might have been a ghost or a demon. The figure moved as if lost in some form of worship. It felt like it had been there for centuries, hiding from the world. They just decided to leave immediately, because staying in such places could be risky, as abandoned areas are often haunted by spirits or cursed, full of fear and mystery. Creepy frog jumpers. A farm owner checked his security camera one evening. To his surprise, he saw 4 thin figures sitting on his backyard wall. Suddenly, they jumped down and began hopping around, almost like frogs. The owner wasn't sure what to think. Were they skinwalkers or something else entirely? The next day, he raised the fence around his farm, feeling uneasy. He called the police, but they found no trace of the figures. Still, strange hopping noises kept coming from outside, and the owner couldn't bring himself to look. Cemetery creature. Strange noises had been coming from the cemetery at night. People were too scared to go near. When the authorities finally caught the creature behind it, they locked it in a strong cage. After hours of growling and thrashing, the truth came to light. It was a werewolf. The cage shook violently as it tried to break free, and then, with a final, desperate push, it did. The last thing anyone saw was it disappearing into the night. The creature had won, and the cemetery was no longer safe. Subscriber pick of the day. A leaked video from Area 51 showed a strange sight. The footage captured a lifeless creature lying on a stretcher. It looked like a mix of human and fish. People began to speculate. Some thought it might be a failed experiment to create a mermaid-like alien. Others believed it was a creature made by scientists using advanced technology. Whatever it was, the experiment didn't end well. The hybrid couldn't survive. What would you do if you came across such hybrid?